up, everybody? Welcome back to the Oak Tree Football Channel, and welcome to another 2020 NFL schedule breakdown and record prediction video. Today I'm going to be making my record prediction for the Chicago Bears. The Bears are a very, very interesting team because they definitely have a lot of talent. They have on the defense. That's a very talented defense. They have Khalil Mack. It's arguably a top 10 defense in the NFL, and Khalil Mack is arguably the best defensive player in the NFL. And then they definitely have some talent on their offense as well. They made some very good offseason moves. But the really interesting part about them is their quarterback situation. A few years ago, they drafted Mitch Trubisky with the second pick in the draft. They traded up for him, and he just has not worked out so far. He was okay in 2018, but in 2017 and 2019 has not been great. And then this offseason, they traded for Nick Foles from the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's going to be interesting, obviously. He won that Super Bowl with the Eagles, but he just was not great last year with the Jaguars, so he's going to be an interesting player to watch this year. But the Bears are a very interesting team. They made the playoffs in 2018, but lost to the Philadelphia Eagles in the wild card game. And they're a team that I think could be pretty good this year. Just about average, in my opinion, though. Probably similar to where they were last year, but they could challenge for a playoff spot because, in my opinion, the NFC North is one of the worst NFC divisions. The East is probably the worst, but the North, in my opinion, isn't that much better. I think the Packers are going to take a step back. I think the Vikings are going to take a step back. Maybe the Lions can take a step up, but it's not that great of a division, so maybe the Bears will be able to win that division. But let's get into this prediction. They went 8-8 last year, and week one they started off with a road game against the Detroit Lions. Lions are an interesting team. Obviously, we're not that great last year. Finished with the third pick in the NFL draft, but they're a team I expect to get better with Jeff Okudah now replacing Darius Slay, which it's going to hurt losing Darius Slay, but I think Okudah can be pretty good. They definitely do have talent. Matt Stafford can be a good quarterback if he stays healthy, and Matt Patricia could be fired after this year, so there's some it's going to be very important for the Lions this season to play well, or for at least Matt Patricia if he wants to stay as the head coach of the Detroit Lions. So the Lions I expect to get better this year, and this is a game in Detroit. This is a game I don't expect to see many points in, just because the Bears have a good defense. Both teams will probably struggle earlier in the year, but at the moment I think I'm going to give it to the Lions because they're the home team for this game. Just that. That's why I think I'm going to give it to the Lions. The Bears are still a good team. Bears are arguably better than the Lions, but I think it's going to be a not great game to watch early in the season, and I'm going to take the Lions because they're at home. Week 2, they play the Giants. Giants are a very interesting team as well because Daniel Jones was a pretty good quarterback in his rookie season. He just fumbled a lot. And the Giants have Saquon Barkley, who's one of the best running backs in the NFL. So the Giants could be pretty good this year. They definitely have pieces on offense and their defense. They definitely improved this offseason. But I do think the Bears will win this one because I think the Bears are better than the Giants, and the Bears are the home team for this one. So I'm going to pick the Bears. Week 3, they play on the road against the Falcons. This is going to be a tough one. The Falcons are a pretty interesting team as well, just because they definitely have a lot of talent on their offense. Julio Jones, Matt Ryan, and then they're bringing in Todd Gurley. They also have Calvin Ridley as their backup wide receiver. They're losing Austin Hooper, but they're bringing in Hayden Hurst from the Baltimore Ravens. So they definitely have a lot of talent on their offense, and they do have some good talent on their defense as well. So the Falcons should be a pretty good team this season, and I don't think the Bears will win this one. Being on the road against the Falcons, maybe there's a chance they win, but the Falcons are just the better team, and the Falcons are the home team for this one, so I'm going to pick the Falcons. Week 4, they play the Colts. Colts had a pretty good offseason. They brought in Phillip Rivers, the longtime Chargers quarterback, to be their new quarterback. It's going to be an interesting season this year for the Colts because they're a team that could either be pretty good or just about average and even under average. Maybe they finish even around 6-10. I kind of feel they'll be in the middle, probably similar record to the Chicago Bears this year. If T.Y. Hilton can stay healthy, he can be a pretty good wide receiver. He was not great even when he was healthy last year just because he did suffer from some injuries. But if he can be healthy this season, he can be a pretty good wide receiver. But at the moment, it's going to be a tough one. It's a tough one to predict. It could really, really go either way. Week 5, they play the Buccaneers. Buccaneers, of course, are bringing in Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski. This is a Thursday night game, so it's going to be interesting to see how these teams play on a short week. The Buccaneers probably the favorite in this game just because they have so much talent. In my opinion, the Buccaneers are a bit overrated. I do think they are a bit overrated just because Gronk hasn't played in a long time, and Tom Brady's coming off one of his worst seasons, and he's going into a new team with a new coach, a new playbook. And in the past, Bruce Arians, with first-year quarterbacks, it has not worked out great. So I do not have very high expectations for the Buccaneers this year. But I do think the Buccaneers could beat the Bears. This is a home game for the Bears, but the Buccaneers are still a good team. So this is a game that could really go either way. It's a tough one to predict, honestly, and it should be a pretty fun one to watch on Thursday night. Week 6, they play the Carolina Panthers on the road. This is an interesting one. The Panthers are a team that I think are okay this year, but I don't think they're going to be all that good this season. They could be good, but I think they will struggle a bit. So it's going to be a really interesting game, this one, with the Panthers being the home side. This is another game that could go either way. Obviously, the Panthers brought in Teddy Bridgewater, and then they gave Christian McCaffrey that huge new contract. Christian McCaffrey is just a great running back. He's probably the best in the NFL. The Panthers are pretty good on offense. They definitely have some good pieces on defense. So the Panthers are really a team that could either be pretty good this year or a team that could seriously have some struggles. Personally, I don't think Teddy Bridgewater is going to be great. Christian McCaffrey will probably be great again. But this is a game that could go either way, but I'm going to give it to the Bears, I think, because the Bears have a pretty nice break after that Buccaneers game, and I think they are better than the Panthers. Sure, the Panthers at home, they could win, but I'm going to pick the Bears. Week 7, they play the Rams. Rams are a team that a few years ago when they were in the Super Bowl, and then they just missed the playoff last year, have just not been great recently. And I think it's not going to be a great season for the Rams. I think they'll be just about average, around 8-8. They're losing Todd Gurley. Don't have anyone spectacular at running back, only a few young guys. Jared Goff does need to take a step up. He has been good, but he still needs to take a step up and really be able to lead this Rams team because he has made struggles when it really matters most. An example of that was in the Super Bowl when he threw interceptions. Obviously, that cost the Rams the game. But I think the Rams can win this one because they're at home. I think the Rams are better than the Chicago Bears. You can make an argument the Bears are better, and I could agree with that, but just the Rams being at home, I think that'll be enough for them. Week 8, they play the Saints. I just don't see them winning this one. The Saints are, in my opinion, one of the best teams in the NFL. It's probably Drew Brees last season, but he's still a good quarterback. Alvin Kamara, if he can stay healthy, he's a great running back. Michael Thomas is probably the best wide receiver in the NFL. Jared Cook is a great tight end. They brought in Emmanuel Sanders at the wide receiver, and that's just offensive players. They have a lot on defense as well. Cameron Jordan's been a good player. Marshawn Lattimore's been pretty good. He struggled at times, I know, but he still has been a pretty good quarterback. So the Saints are cornerback, sorry. The Saints are a team that just have so much talent, and even though this is a home game for the Bears, I really just don't see them winning. I'm going to pick the Saints in that one. Week 9, this is a game I didn't really see them winning either. On the road against the Titans. Titans obviously had that unbelievable run in the playoffs last season. And I think they'll be good this year, probably improve. And the Titans are at home in this one, and I just don't see the Bears winning, if I'm honest. So I'm gonna take the Titans. It's just 2 tough games in a row there against the Saints and then at the Titans. Week 10, they have another pretty tough game against the Vikings. The Vikings are a team I expect to take a step back this year, but I still expect them to be pretty good. Kirk Cousins is a pretty good quarterback. You could say he's top 10 in the NFL. Maybe it will probably be lower top 10, but he still is probably a top 10 quarterback, maybe just outside of that. Dalvin Cook, if he can stay healthy. When he was healthy last year, he was one of the best running backs in the NFL. The Vikings definitely have some good pieces, but their defense is taking such a big hit. They're losing so much, and then they're losing Stephon Diggs on the offense as well. They do have some players to replace Diggs, but no one's probably going to be as good as Diggs this season, except for Thielen, obviously. But then they need someone to be, that second great receiver, and Justin Jefferson will probably be the second string, but I don't expect him to do anything fantastic as a rookie. So I expect the Vikings to take a step back this year. This is an interesting game. It really could go either way, but at the moment, I think I'm going to lean towards the Bears just because they're at home. Obviously, home field advantage doesn't always matter, but the Bears normally do beat the Vikings at least once in a season, so I think that the Bears will be able to beat the Vikings there, and then they will go into the bye week, and after that they play on the road against the Packers, and I don't really see them winning this one either, if I'm honest. The Packers are a team that I do expect to take a step back this season, but I still expect the Packers to be a very good team. They definitely do have talent. Aaron Jones is a very good running back. The Packers, their draft was questionable, but they still do have the talent to be a good team. So I think the Packers will win this one fairly comfortably. Week 13, they play the Lions. Last time they played the Lions, I had them losing, but at this point in the year, they probably have more things figured out. It's a home game for the Bears, so I do think the Bears should be able to win this one. I do think it's a possibility they'll lose, but I do think that they are better than the Lions, and being at home, I think they'll be a pretty good shot at winning this one. So I'm going to pick the Bears there. Week 14, they play the Texans. The Texans are going to take a step back this year after they lost DeAndre Hopkins. Still have Deshaun Watson, who definitely has the potential to be a great quarterback still, but it's going to be a step back for them in my opinion. Probably just about an average team, and being on the road against the Bears for them is going to be tough. So the Texans will probably figure more things out as the season goes on, but I just feel it's going to be tough for them to beat the Bears in Chicago. So I'm going to pick the Bears there. Week 15, they play the Minnesota Vikings for the second time, and I had them beating the Vikings at home, but it's going to be tough for them to win on the road. The Vikings definitely do have the talent to beat them. I do think the Bears have the talent to beat the Vikings as well, but if the Vikings are at home, I think that they will be able to get the win. Both these teams are both pretty talented. I do think Vikings are more talented. I gave the Bears when they were at home. I gave the Bears the win when they were at home. But when the Vikings are at home, I'm going to pick the Vikings. Week 16, they play the Jaguars. Jaguars are considered by most to be the worst team in the NFL. And they are probably the worst team, if not bottom three. There are definitely some positions that are good, but there are definitely some positions that need help. And it's probably going to be a step back for the Jaguars this season. This is a road game for the Bears, but I do think they should get the win just because the Jags just aren't the best team and they probably won't be great this year. And then week 17, they play division opponents, Green Bay Packers. This one, they have a lot better chance of winning it than week 12. Week 12, they're on the road, but here, they're at home, so I think they have a pretty good shot at winning it, but it's still going to be tough. The Packers have a lot of good pieces. I don't think there's anything you can say denying that, but the Packers could struggle in this one, if I'm honest. But so could the Bears, which is what makes it an interesting game. Both teams could play worse than we might expect them to. So I think the Packers are going to win. I do think the Packers will win this one. I think the Packers will probably sweep the Bears this season. I just think the Packers are too good a team, better than the Bears. I think the Bears could get one, but I think the Packers, will be able to win. So now I'll go through each game once again, and I'll give my prediction for who I think will win. I think they will lose to the Lions, beat the Giants, lose to the Falcons, beat the Colts, lose to the Buccaneers, beat the Panthers, lose to the Rams, lose to the Saints, lose to the Titans, beat the Vikings. Then they have their bye. I think they'll lose to the Packers. I think they'll beat the Lions and the Texans. I think they will lose to the Vikings. I think they'll beat the Jaguars, and then I think they'll lose to the Packers to give them a record of 7-9 on the year. I could see them beating the Packers that second time at home, so I could see them going 8-8. For me, they could probably be a team that wins 10 games this year if their quarterback situation, if they can figure that out. If they can't, they can be worse. They can be maybe even a top 10 pick. They can have a top 10 pick at the NFL draft. But I do think it'll be a pretty good season for the Bears this year. The record is worse than last year, but I still do think it will be a pretty good season, especially with whoever they have at quarterback. But these are my thoughts on the Chicago Bears for the season. What are your guys' thoughts? Tell me in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like. And if you are new around here, feel free to subscribe for more daily NFL and college football content. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video.